Hello. In this video, I'm going to have a conversation about breast milk versus formula. Why are people having a lot of questions about these two? Currently on social media, many people are making statements like whether your baby was fed on breast milk, whether on formula, they will all grow, they are all going to eat the same food, they're all going to go to the same school, play the same games, do the same job like when they're grown, and several other things that are alike. But there are some differences between these two. However, these two, breast milk or formula, are very vital for the development and growth of your infant. Breast milk is a natural, food for your baby, and we are advised that at least your child or baby feeds on breast milk for the first 6 months of their life. But that is not the case in most cases, because you find that maybe some mothers have low milk supply, others have to go back for work, others are not able to pump, several other factors. Maybe your caregiver has to take up, the responsibility of the child, and they cannot produce breast milk, so they have to substitute with formula. So whatever reason it is that a baby is fed on formula, you know, uh, I don't have to have enough discussion about that, because whatever choice is made, I believe it is in the best, suitable for the growth and development of your child. So breast milk naturally has its nutrients, it has its antibiotics, it has antibodies. I call them antibiotics. It has its antibodies, nutrients, enzymes, and hormones that are naturally, given in the breast milk. And then when we go to the side of of formula, whereas it's not natural, it's in powdered form, so you use water to dilute, to mix and make something that mimics breast milk, and it is fed by bottle to the baby. So whereas that has its own minerals, they put in enough vitamins that are also good for the baby, and also has prebiotics. So breast milk, it is said that with these antibodies that come with it, can easily, help fight against disease or infections. Whereas formula doesn't have antibodies, but it is, it has prebiotics that can also help in that one way or the other. So when the baby is fed on breast milk, it is said that in most cases you don't need to substitute with medicine, especially if they're not having a chronic disease or an illness. For example, if your baby gets a cold, this happened to me most times. If the baby would get a cold, cough, something like that, the one thing, that peds would always tell you is just keep breastfeeding, because they believe that breast milk has enough to give to your baby the antibodies to fight against all these diseases. And it is true that you find your baby doesn't have to depend on syrups to get better, but because they're taking enough, breast milk, it is able to help them fight against all these other diseases and infections that come around as they're developing. So let us talk about digestion. Under digestion, breast milk easily, it's easy to digest it, because it's natural food for the baby, so it is easy to digest. Whereas some well breastfed babies also sometimes have hard times, during digestion. So on the side of formula, digestion is slow to some, and to others it is easy and normal. We get to the point of cost effectiveness. Breast milk is cheap. It's naturally given, especially when you are the one feeding your child. You don't need to buy it, so it's effective. But when we get to the level whereby you have to buy breast milk to serve to your child, it becomes a little expensive. And that is why I think now people go to the side of formula. Maybe because they do not have enough breast milk, and maybe the child needs breast milk at that point, and they don't have enough to buy or reach out to get that, breast milk. They have to resort to giving their babies formula, and that makes now formula a little cheaper than breast milk. But if it was naturally, like, let me say I am having my baby, I have breast milk, I can feed, this is very cheap, because I don't need to work much for it. It's coming out naturally, rather than me buying formula, which baby finishes in 3 days, 5 days, 6 days, and I need to keep piling tins and tins, it becomes a little expensive. So when we talk about long-term health, preservation, or long-term health in its entirety, I say that breastfed babies are not easily, they don't easily suffer from obesity, asthma, uh, type 1 diabetes, and several other diseases. That's what research shows. And they say babies who are fed only on formula are at that risk. But I'm not saying that every child that has been fed on formula will suffer that, but that is what is said. So breastfed babies are at a lesser risk of getting such issues with their bodies. And then finally, we talk about flexibility. Flexibility in this, or convenience in this instance. Breastfeeding is convenient because as long as you have your child, you can easily, breastfeed. Whereas formula or bottle feeding is inconveniencing. You have to wash, you have to clean, because I've also been there, you have to make sure that they are well sterilized, the bottles, everything. Then babies have some feed in an hour, 2 hours, 2 hours and a half, depending. You have to keep washing, keep cleaning, keep steaming, keep doing that. And then sometimes you find your baby doesn't want formula, because I had a struggle with my child. I struggled to make him like taking formula. Some types of formula, I'm sorry to say, do not have a good smell, good scent. So sometimes I think that's why some children don't like it. And so it's a bit inconveniencing. Whereas if I was just to breastfeed, I just give them and then they feed. But about flexibility is, if the child is only breastfed, it requires for the mother to always have the child. So meaning mother doesn't have to make very many movements, or whatever movements she makes, she should be having a baby. But let's say, what if you have meetings to attend? What if you have places to go where babies are not allowed? You know the world we live in. What will you do? So I think that's where formula comes in handy, that you can leave the baby with someone, with your partner, with a caregiver, anyone, your sibling, anyone that is available to take care of your baby in your absence. You see, it's very flexible. They just have to mix and then they give to the baby. When we get to the level of bonding, automatically breastfeeding allows you to bond with your baby, as they breastfeed and take the latch, and they like pricking their nose, pulling your mouth, pulling your hair, whatever the babies do with your body. A nice time for you to talk to them. On the side of formula, the baby also is able to bond actually with another person. Let's say your partner, let's say your caregiver, anyone available, because as they feed them, they're also able to talk those nice things, speak into their lives, encourage them, pray over them. As they're doing that, however much they're not getting it direct from the breast, they're getting it from the bottle, but they also have the time to bond. So as I conclude this video, please, if you are new here and you've liked what I've shared, kindly like, subscribe, and comment. And if you're not new, you've been here with me, ever since I started, kindly like, comment, and also share this video. Let me see you in other videos. I've also shared several other videos which I'm going to link up as I conclude, about breast milk storage tips, about what I wish I knew before I froze breast milk, and about pumping and breastfeeding, and several other videos. Kindly watch them and give it a thumbs up, click the notification bell such that you're notified of everything I have to share. Thank you so much for coming this far with me. I love you, and bye.